talk about is Oblivion, because of course. Because of course we're going to talk about Oblivion. Why would we not talk about Oblivion? Oblivion is awesome. They, it's got the woke mind virus, like, parked inside its asshole, but, everybody seems to be having fun, so, again, just one more, like, mark on the board is, like, it doesn't matter how much stupid fucking woke political shit your dumb shit has in it, or any political nonsense your shit has in it. If it's a good game, it will sell. Period. What is it? Is that woke doesn't sell a game, but it can make a game bad. There you go. So nobody's gonna buy it because it's got it in there, but some people won't because it does. But a game like Oblivion transcends that, right? Because you've got the nostalgia aspect, you've got the fact that there are a lot of guys who are into RPGs today because of games like Oblivion, where for me, it was like Fallout, the original 2 Fallouts, and Morrowind. Morrowind was my first exposure to the Elder Scrolls series, and it has basically been fucking downhill since, it feels like. Every iteration, like Oblivion when it first came out felt like ass to me, and I don't think I ever beat the game because of it. And the main reason is because of the way they did the level scaling. And so, I'm running around doing like all the shit I did in Morrowind, leveling up my sneak, leveling up a bunch of stupid illusion stuff, and I'm like a fighter with magic. And I'm running around and I walk and I come up to the like first Oblivion gate, and I remember it just being like I'm whacking on this dude, and he just has his health bar feels like it's fucking infinite, right? And it's because it had of the way the leveling system works. Every time you level up, the game world levels up too. So if you want to keep pace with it, you either have to fully invest in like hard combat stuff very early and continuously throughout the game, because if you fuck it up, you can actually make it to where your character can't kill anything unless you turn the difficulty all the way down. Which, I mean, you obviously you were able to fix stuff like this on the computer, but I was playing it on Xbox at the time, so never mind. So, but in the new release, they have, let me see, I wanted to bring up, no, we're not going to talk about that. Just, yeah, here we go. Okay. So in the new release, they have body type A and B instead of the original male female. This is what it used to look like, body type. And Nexus mod deleted the body type mod for Oblivion. The mod was up for about 30 minutes, and moderator locked the comments, then deleted the mod 10 minutes later. Grum sums it up perfectly. This is BS. It's not important. Because this is what people will say. Oh, the body type A and B shit is not important. Why are you freaking out over it? Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't change the gameplay experience. Okay. So if it's not important, why are you censoring the mods? Why are the mods being censored? Tell me! Tell me, damn it! Why? Why do you do such horrible things? Un momento, por favor. Turn this up ever so slightly. You can kind of hear it in the background. Yeah. Probably can't hear it. Okay, there we go. Anyway. So why do you delete it? Why do you delete it if it doesn't matter? If it's not important? Why are you freaking out, bro? Well, then why do you care if I do a thing? Right? Why do you care if I do a thing? So, they deleted it 10 minutes after it was taken down. And they've been doing this a lot, where anything that's explicitly anti-woke or pushing back against this stupid gender horseshit that's being pumped out by the vast majority of Blue Team. Which is one of the things why it bothers me, because if it was literally just the like hard left and it's a bunch of commies, and the regular rank and file weren't literally supporting it, I would be far more okay with it. And mainly not that I would just be okay with it, but I believe it had far less impact on stupid shit like this. Because think about it like this: even if Reddit and Nexus mod are completely infiltrated and controlled by fucking commie bastards, that's irrelevant, right? Because you could go make your own with blackjack and hookers and it'd be better, right? Because they're limited by their like commie bullshit. And this is what I think is happening as to why I believe I'm pretty sure they reinstated it. And I think they're starting to realize that the vast majority of gamers don't give a fuck about this stuff, and them actively removing mods from people is making them look bad. Because the thing about it is it's not just, oh, it has body type A and B. They've literally changed the old game and made it perceptibly worse to people who used to play it. Like, if you upgrade the graphics, nobody's really gonna bitch as long as it's an improvement. But this is not something that's an improvement. It's simply you putting your religion into the game. Because why would you change this? There's no reason to. It's simply a selector for which type of character you are gonna have. And the funny thing is regardless of whichever one you pick, if you pick body type A or B, they're still gonna, everybody in the world, right? They didn't completely reprogram the game. Everybody in the world still treats you as a male or female, depending on which body type you pick. They use he, him, and she, her pronouns for each individual one. And so there is none of this body type A, B, 1, 2, gender, fucking queer garbage affects the actual gameplay at all. The only thing this changes is this menu option. And the biggest reason you gotta wonder is why. And if it's not to pander to the ultra blue, then why? What is the point? Let's go ahead and read the statement. This mod has been and will likely continue to be a source of controversy within the community. After a thorough review, we've determined that the content of the mod itself does not violate our community guidelines. However, due to the nature of the topic, which often attracts intense and sometimes hostile discussion, the comment section will remain locked to prevent further escalation. So they did bring it back, because in this instance, it's not a new game that came out and you're changing it, right? And they're like, oh, it violates our guidelines because it's bigoted. This is literally the way the game used to be. The original game, it's basically a mod that reverts this selector to the version that the original game was. And so essentially what they'd have to do is they'd have to call the entire original game a big ass bigot, and everybody who made it bigots, and the people that currently released it bigots, because they didn't change every single pronoun in the game and all this other bullshit. And so they realize the kind of snarl they're probably in, which is why they mute the comments so there's no more fucking crazy shit going on in there, and then just let it go. And hopefully they'll continue to do this, like removing the fucking pride flags from what was it, Spider-Man game? There was every now and then you'll run across a pride flag in the game, and somebody made a mod to remove them, and it got banned. And so somebody made a mod that changed every flag in the game to the American flag, and it also got banned. And somebody else made a mod that changed every flag into the pride flag, and it's still there. Still there, boys. I'm going to make a game, ask you whether you're Protestant or Catholic. Well, this is what I do know, is that because my wife is also a smart nerd like me, just in different ways, I have learned far more about religion than I ever thought I would, especially about religions, specifically the different sects of Christianity, and how much stuff the Catholic Church is just made up whole cloth. Completely and utterly just out of fucking nowhere. Oh, we had a meeting, and we said we were going to do this. Trust, it's definitely in the Bible. Just trust me, bro. You can't read, and it's in Latin, so trust me, bro. Just trust me. It's there. Anyway, There has been a lot of speculation and misinformation regarding the removal of the original upload. You know what's funny though, Amazing Barrel? If you actually made a game that was about the Reformation, and it was about some kind of thing between Protestant and Catholic areas of the world where they either fought or had some kind of like political machinations going on in the background, you could literally just choose the side, right? So you would have an actual thing that would be like, which side do you want to play on? Do you want to play as a Catholic or do you want to play as a Protestant? Or do you want to play as someone, you know, as a third option where it's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but, you know, right on, buddy. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Akanam, greetings and salutations. Nice day to talk about modding, ain't it? Uh-huh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so there's been much speculation and misinformation. Oh, yes. Tons of misinformation regarding the removal of the original upload. To clarify, the mod was not taken down because of its content. Uh-huh. As stated in the ban notice, it was removed due to uploader's behavior. Uh-huh. In the comments, the uploader expressed intent to incite drama and endorsed an external site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content. This kind of behavior directly violates our community standards. Yep. Yep, sure does. We recognize that mods like this can bring sensitive discussion around gender and identity to the forefront. Woke bullshit. Yep, true, true, true. While these are important conversations, I disagree. Our platform exists to support creative expression and modding. Does it now? Not to serve as a battleground for broader culture and political debates. Boom, there it is. They just conceded that they're withdrawing from the fucking culture war. Now, you got to remember that they're probably still going to lean like heavily blue team no matter what happens. But this is concession. That's what this is. This is a concession. Yep. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And, I mean, it's fair enough if Dude Bro expressed intent to incite drama. That's a very interesting way to phrase the bad behavior that you're talking about. As if he didn't do anything wrong explicitly, but you believe that his actions were for this reason, i.e. you're reading his fucking mind. There you go. And endorsed an external site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content. I wonder what site it was. Because I guarantee you it could have been Fox News, it could have been Breitbart, it could have been any of the red team leaning news sites. It could have been Tim fucking Pool, dude. And this is exactly the kind of shit that they would say, right? This is exactly the kind of shit that they would say. I wonder if they really stop or if this is just a bit of PR. It's like if I posted a or X. He could have posted a link to X and they would have said this exact thing. Because I was just about to say, if I posted a tweet about Brian Krasenstein on like a right team, on a red team, like run site, they could say the exact same thing about me. This entire thing, exposed intent to incite drama and endorsed an external site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content. That would be me posting a, posting a tweet by Brian Krasenstein on a red team site. If I did that on a site run by a fucking red team, they could say this exact same thing. And who is Brian Krasenstein? He's the fucking liar I was telling you about last time, who was using language to obfuscate about the Garcia case when they were showing the tattoos on his hand and the marijuana leaf, he put pot leaf equals M instead of marijuana equals M. Yeah, that guy. That's what they would say if I did this. If I did that on a red team site, they could say the exact same thing because that's exactly what it is. So you can literally so what this language is doing is it's flowery, right? And it gives you an image in your mind, but it doesn't tell you what was actually done. And instead is supposed to entice a feeling within inside you. Oh, they did a bad thing. Oh, they were trying to incite drama and posted a site for inflammatory content. But those are literally fucking opinions. This is like, oh, I'm reading his fucking mind. He's intentionally inciting drama. Unless you show me evidence, you're reading his fucking mind, as far as I'm concerned. And a site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content could be any fucking website on the internet, because that's what the entire internet is now. We're withdrawing from the culture war as long as we're winning. Yeah, but they're not winning. That's the problem. And one of the reasons they did this is because there were a lot of people who were subs to the Nexus mod site who pay money to Nexus mods who were endorsing the this mod because it's a true to classic mod. Right? This is the way the original game was. This is an originalist mod. So you could say it's part of the culture war, or you could say it's anti-culture war because it's going back to the original intent that the designers had. And for whatever reason, they decided to be dumbasses and changed it. Yeah, won't even let people change mods on single-player games. You got to remember, this is a single-player. This is not an online game, right? This is a single-player game. Single. Yeah, so I think they've finally realized that if they want to remain the top dog in mods, they have to not do this anymore. Because there are alternative sites now, and they are building massive amounts of a base. Like, I don't use Nexus mods if I can help it. If I can find a mod somewhere else, I will absolutely use the mod somewhere else. I will not use Nexus mods if I can help it at all. But I will still use them if I need to, but I'm never giving them my money. And I always use my ad blockers because they can fuck off. Because of shit like this. Because they want to live the capitalist dream and be commie shit stains at the same time. I will do everything I can that is within my power to never give them any money at all, period, ever. Hands down. Just like when I watch any of Hassan's content, I make sure that he will never receive money from me. Anytime I consume it, it's always through other sources because I do not like. The man is literally like a walking fucking hypocrite. He is the like quintessential commie because every single leader, like I really do think he thinks he's going to be the leader when the revolution happens, because you got to think about it like this. Most of the leaders that come from communist revolutions come from the middle and upper middle class. Hassan, however, is the upper class, but he has brought himself down into what a lot of people would basically, he's reframed his entire life to be that rather than what he actually is, which is a trust fund baby who literally lived like royalty in Turkey and came to the United States as a student. So like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's fucking funny. It's really, really funny. I use Nexus a lot because Skyrim library there is massive. I don't pay for shit though. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and when I downloaded Skyrim and started playing it, I also went to Nexus mods and downloaded a few quality of life mods because no other website had any good ones, and there's none on the Steam Workshop. They don't have it available. So to be able to play the game, I had to use their website. Okay. Yeah, so this is one of those things where apparently they've done some other stuff in Oblivion where they've censored some of the female armor. And I was relatively interested in this. I mean, I kind of understand why a lot of them are doing it. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. All right, let's rock this. Okay. Most variants of female armor were apparently removed from Oblivion Remastered. Body armor modders have confirmed it too. There you go. This pic is from a post I linked. It isn't mine. So it looks like they're covering up the women. Like I love how the horseshoe theory actually seems to manifest in real life. It's not that it's not just that the horseshoe theory is true. It's that authoritarians tend to come to the same conclusions through different means. They want to control things, so they use whatever excuse they can to do so. And this is one of those things. It's and the really, 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 really fucked up thing about it is that men like to look at scantily clad women because it's titillating and stimulating. Okay? Sex sells for a reason. If you put hot bitches in your video game, more dudes will buy it simply because there are hot bitches, right? That's just how men work. And the funny thing is that women also like to play really hot characters in scantily clad clothes. Why? Because the fantasy for men is they want the woman who's beautiful. Fantasy for women is they want to be the beautiful woman. So if you make your characters ugly and or fat and or modest, they might not be as titillating to both sexes. Because I have only met a handful of women who actually will admit that they want all the women in media covered up. Like a lot of them, I've heard them bitch about, not necessarily say the male gaze, but they'll talk around it. Like they don't understand the language they're using because they basically just heard it like second, third hand. And so they'll use that kind of language to say that, they don't like it because, it's just made for men to objectify women. But then when you ask them, so you would want to play, so if you want to play this game, you would make your character fat and ugly so that men couldn't objectify you? Well, no, I wouldn't do that. So you'd make her beautiful? Yeah. How big would you make her tits? Would they be bigger than yours? Probably. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of guys and gals who like the itty bitty titty committee. So, whatever your fetish is, you do you, right? Because, like this is one of those things. It's like, how should I put this? Everybody has their own weird thing they like when it comes to sex. And for the most part, you should keep it to your fucking self. But you shouldn't be ashamed of it, and nor should people shame you for it. But you should also keep it to your fucking self. Unless you're explicitly talking about it. But I'm talking about like in public, right? If I'm walking around, I'm not going to wear a sign that has my kink written on it being like, fucking praise me because I'm so special. Now, fuck all that shit. There will be 1,000 skimpy mods in a couple months, so it's just pissing in the wind. Yeah, of course it is. Euro's a bit stronger than USD. Yeah. See, I'm surprised they put the price for 55 here in Germany. Strange, but I did expect 60. Yeah, it's 50 here. And it's, I think, what's his name? Legendary Drops, a YouTuber who recently blew up because of his amazing videos, basically put it very succinctly. Because Xbox owns Bethesda and Xbox is no longer going to go console exclusive, with Nintendo charging $80 for Mario Kart, right? And Sony ramping up to put $80 and $100 games on the market, Xbox basically came out and be like, hey, gamers, check it out. Here's Oblivion for $50. And it's just like sit back, light your cigar, and count your fucking money, bro. That's how you do it. That's how Nintendo did it with the Nintendo Wii, man. Because compared to the other systems back in the day, it was the cheap one. But it was also one for family friendly and just, it had stupid kids games. But because of like the Wii Sports, as well as the fact that it was family friendly and the fact that it was super fucking cheap, and it was literally made for couch co-op, the thing that really that made Xbox blow up as much as it did and PlayStation blow up as it did is that you could sit there with your boys and have like a 2 to 4 player game going on the couch, man. And you didn't need like 5 fucking consoles and all this other bullshit. I've watched LD's video on it already. I've been watching him a lot since you told me about it. Oh yeah, dude, legendary. Yeah, I don't want to play it on stream. He just came out with it, and I'm not really reacting to videos. I don't know, man. I'm not there yet. I did it on one of Cash Jordan's videos for immigration, and it was okay, but yeah. Anyway, but I believe he's right that Xbox is pushing their platform by being the affordable one. That's essentially what it is. It's like I seriously doubt they're pro-consumer. I don't think that's what's going on. I think that they see a hole in the market, right? That indies are slowly filling out, where you've got all these great games that are coming out that are 20, 30, $10, $20, $30, sometimes $40 if they're really good. or if they add a lot of content or stuff like that, and they're blowing up because graphics have gotten so good to this point that we really don't need the most high fidelity graphics you could possibly imagine. There are a few games where you want that, where it could be a selling point. But especially as consoles slowly catch up to PC when it comes to graphical fidelity, high frame rate, a lot of that shit will go away and it'll be about style. Because how many games do you remember from back in the day that look like absolute shit today because they were pushing the 3D modeling, right? Because they wanted to do the 3D modeling as much as possible. And the technology was so primitive compared to today that the game looks like ass compared to the games before it, simply due to the fact that the style and art of the 2D versions of the game and stuff like that were way more appealing to the eye than the 3D polygonal fucking, super dark, not a lot of sprites around stuff from the early 3D days. But that was because they were pushing technology, right? And so that's one of the reasons it sold and everybody thought it was cool back then. When you go back now, it looks like trash. But it was a great selling point then, just like photorealistic video games are today. And soon photorealistic video games will be a thing. And I can't wait until AI is implemented into it. Because it's gonna make it interesting when you can use a powerful chatbot that is similar to, say, ChatGPT, to be able to, within parameters, randomly generate dialogue, story quest, or just small quests maybe, as well as what is the word I'm looking for? Kind of like it does in XCOM, where it generates a random mission, and then on the mission it has certain parameters that you have to do. Something like that. Because I've been thinking about the Star Trek game that I wanted to make about. It was basically like a PvE looter shooter, and I was thinking about how you could use that to transform every single match in a certain way, right? You build out the ships, you destroy them, and then you make copies and stick them all over the place. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's more procedural generation than anything. But what I'm saying is like the kind of stuff in the future. Like imagine you had Oblivion, or Skyrim, or Morrowind, or Fallout. Any of those games, or more of the text-heavy ones like Rogue Trader and Pillars of Eternity, where it's literally like books of dialogue. Like you literally will read a couple novels going through these games worth of stuff, which is fine. But the problem is that it is a barrier to people entering the space, right? Because a lot of people don't just want to sit there and read to enjoy themselves like that. And so if you have AI generated voice actors to read stuff that's ancillary, that's not super important, if you have AI to come up with random story quests, it will make games like that far more expansive, right? You just have to program in parameters that they can abide by, limits that they can't exceed, so that they don't do something super lore breaking or retardedly stupid. Companies will never be pro-consumer in a virtuous way. Exactly. Simply treat your customer well, and you will have a customer base that will be less poised to jump ship the moment someone more affordable or whatever enters the market. It's not just that. It's that look at how much people still glaze and suck the dick of Bethesda, no matter how much they fuck up. No matter how many of their games are fucking absolute trash, they still continue to have high amounts of favor. Why? Because of Fallout 3, because of Morrowind, because of Oblivion, because of Skyrim, because of the games that they've released in the past that have basically entrenched nostalgia and feelings of like warm fuzziness in their fan base. This is essentially what's going on. And every time they make a shitty game, they're cashing that in because they're putting forth less effort than is required to make a good game and still trying to cash in on everything else. And people do remember this. Like I remember playing Fallout 4 for the first time and I was overjoyed. I remember how I'm so ready for this. And then as I started to creep into the game more and more, and then you get out of the beginner area, you start to see more of the flaws in the leveling system, the flaws in the fact that at the very beginning, they literally give you fucking power armor and you get to fight a Deathclaw. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the power armor is mostly useless at the beginning of the game because you don't have the stuff, you don't have the good armor that goes on it, you don't have fusion cores and all this other stuff. But the problem is they wanted to show the best of the game up front. And instead of doing that in like a trailer or somebody playing gameplay from later in the game, showing them what you could eventually achieve, they put it at the very beginning of the game so you can experience it. And then they take it away. And that works in some games, but in a game like Fallout, man, it's stupid. Especially in a game like Fallout, because the first big enemy you fight is the goddamn Deathclaw. It is the quintessential in-game boss of like Fallout. And they put it front and center. And with the power armor, if you know what you're doing, and so you've played the game before and you know a lot about the game, you can literally take your power armor, walk like 10 minutes down the road, and you can find more fusion cores, more armor plates, and you're basically invincible in the early game. Like, I know that's how it's supposed to be, where if you have good game knowledge, you become a lot harder to kill, and it's a lot easier to play the game. But power armor, really? Anyway, the point is the game had a lot of flaws, and everybody knew it. Even people who were super hyped about the game, even people who, I was super hyped about the game. I was hoping that, they would take a step back from what they did with Skyrim and dumbing down their games and make them easier. And what I was hoping is that they would finally figure out a way to make the RPG-ness that they're known for more easily approachable by layman's, but still deep enough to where somebody like me can really, really dig into it and have a lot of fun with it. And they fell flat on their face. They basically got rid of almost all of the things that come with leveling and turned everything into basically every time you level up, you get an upgrade that you can click. And they all have requirements and stuff like that. So basically just turned it into a solo perk system, which wasn't very good in my opinion. And so every iteration of a Bethesda game has just gotten simpler and simpler and dumber and dumber. And it's been a complaint for a long time that's pushed a lot of people away, including myself. Like, I did not even entertain the fact that I was even going to buy or even try to play Fallout 76. And I was completely justified when it came out that in what I thought, because it was a complete mess. And to this day, it's gotten improvements, yes, and it's definitely playable, more playable than it ever was, but it still doesn't mean it was an absolute cash grab by Bethesda to fuck over their customer base for cheap cash. And so what Bethesda's doing here is, I think Xbox is using the Bethesda name and the nostalgia that it brings up to set their place in the market so that they can compete with PlayStation and they can compete with Nintendo, who are fully exclusive, right? Nintendo does not host hardly any other stuff on their platforms. Occasionally you'll get a few ports over to Switch, which I did, which are there, but it's not like you could play most of your PC games on your Switch. Trust me, I would have probably bought it a lot sooner if you did. You hope the Elder Scrolls 6 will be a lot better than Starfield? Okay, that's really loud. Apparently I turned it up too loud. Sorry about that. Turn it back down. There we go. I guess it was just at a really quiet part. Yeah, I'm hoping so too, man. But I have little faith. I have little faith, and the reason I have little faith is because unless Xbox forces them to do so, I don't think they have the gumption within their own company to do it. I don't think they can make Oblivion anymore. I don't think they can make Skyrim anymore. I definitely don't think they can make Morrowind or Fallout 1 or 2. Absolutely 100%. I do not believe they can do it. They do not have the ability. They do not have the writing chops. They do not have the programming chops. They don't know. It feels like they don't even really know what the fuck they're doing, right? This remake wasn't even made by Bethesda, right? This was made by another studio that's done other remakes really well. And as you can see, they did a pretty good job of it. Some of the way they changed the races and stuff looks a bit weird, but I mean, that's, porting from one engine to another. So, what are you going to do, right? Also, the funniest thing is that it's the body type selector is also one of the most endorsed Oblivion remastered mods. Funny that, right? So not only is it has the culture war pushed back. Excuse me. Not only have they pushed back from the culture war, Nexus mods. I'm pretty sure this is probably why, right? But anyway, like I was saying about Bethesda and Xbox, I think they did this because it sets them up to be an actual true competitor for the gamer. And I think that's what they're going to try to brand themselves as, because PlayStation and Nintendo left the market wide open. And you know that vacuum is going to be filled by somebody, and Xbox said it was going to be them. I think that's what this is. They released it like this because they said it's going to be them. And that's what they're doing. All right, so what's next?